Glenn Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Average of 308. Smacks the ball to deep left field.
Oh, no.
Back toward the wall.
Oh, wow.
Let's blaze. Alexander makes it an even dozen for the Birds. His third hit of the game. His third Oriole home run. And that is some gasoline on the fire here in L.A.
Is it ever?
I hear 12 runs are good. It's something that you should be looking to do. That's courtesy, of course, of Masson from yesterday in Los Angeles. The Orioles win 12-1. This Blaze Alexander fella, he's been all right. There were lots of candidates to be man of the match yesterday. Saturday was obvious. Trevor Rogers is up there. We'll get back to him. Lots of candidates for yesterday, and I know a lot of people were saying, oh, it's Colton Cowser. None of them separated that much from each other to me. And really, like, Blaze Alexander only had one star on his picture. So considering he's...
So we don't look at each game as a vacuum?
No, we do, but the problem is there wasn't any candidate that stood out yesterday. They were all very helpful. And so when that's the case, yeah, I defaulted to that. That's what happened.
Wow.
Because no one really was all that more important than anybody else was yesterday. Brandon Young was good for 5 innings. Like
Grant
they were
Wolfram,
all,
2 scoreless innings.
Grant Wolfram was good. They were
two
lots
perfect innings?
and lots of candidates yesterday. He's the one that gets the star next to him. Hi, it's a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. We'll talk Orioles with Jacob Calvin Meyer coming up in a few minutes. Later on in the program, our buddy William Vanzela will join us. We'll talk World Cup and also how he's going to murder whoever it is that loses the pool, which might very well be me because Belgium can go F themselves.
I think it might be me.
Belgium's just a bunch of assholes.
If something bad happens to Argentina, I'm screwed.
Yeah, Argentina about 1,000,000 times better than Belgium.
Is Belgium your ringer?
Yeah, that's my ringer. 2 draws. They can F right off. Oh, and by the way, might very well be the U.S. opponent in the round of 16, too. So, anyway, that's coming up.
Oh, we're making the round of 16?
I hope. I mean, if they're facing Bosnia in the round of 32, they damn well better make the round of 16. Now, couple of things. One, spare me on the this morning I was doing the morning show over on WBAL, and I get it. Like, we're trying to force the, well, are you bought back in? I have no earthly idea.
They beat the Dodgers.
Spare me,
They should have
man.
swept them.
Yeah, you're right. They should have. They could have lost 2 out of 3. Yeah. Just all of this is exhausting. We are too deep into the season with this group to overreact to anything that they do. This was a really unexpected quality series win that may or may not mean anything at all. Suggesting that it does would spit in the face of everything we know about this team. So I'd love to come on here and do the, hey, the Orioles are back thing. But that would be ridiculous. We have no clue. None. 0. It will require a prolonged stretch of good baseball. Not a game over 500. I think last night I heard the guys on the bat around talking about them being 16-13 in their last 29. That would barely help them in their next 29. Barely. Which is right about where they would be at the trade deadline. That would mean they would be 2 games under 500 if they were to go 16-13.
And I guess and you'd also be banking on the rest of the American League
continuing to suck.
Just being exactly what they are. Yeah.
But even that, I don't know, would tell you that you could invest in this team. They have to play a prolonged period of really good baseball. And they're out of time. They have to do it now in order to be able to justify the moves that would be needed to make them a legitimate contender at the deadline and to make them completely dismiss the other side of the equation at the deadline. That's the reality that's in front of them. It's good that they won 2 out of 3 in L.A. Trevor Rogers was otherworldly on Saturday. We'll do the thing in a minute. That, my God. The problem is we have no idea what's going to happen next, because if somehow this is a turning point for the Orioles, that could go down as one of the best starts in modern Orioles history. Given what happened the night before, given that it was the Dodgers, frankly, given the season that Trevor Rogers has been having, that was unreal. Yesterday, the offense came out to play. That's neat. It's neat that they beat the Dodgers. The Dodgers don't lose back-to-back games very often. They don't lose
almost
games
never, yeah.
very often. Ever, almost. That was neat. Even if they go, let's say they followed up, they take 2 out of 3 in L.A., you'd say, wow, one back-to-back series, or in Anaheim. They won back-to-back series, 5-4 on the West Coast road trip. You could try to come up with positives. But being 500 or a little bit better is not helpful, save for maybe if that continues to the end of the year, you'd look back and say, well, they were a game over 500 every 3 weeks the rest of the year. They got them over 500. They need to play really good baseball for a prolonged period of time to change their reality. You can like the positives. You can like the fact that both Rogers and Bradish were great in their last starts. And those are supposed to be the guys at the top of your rotation, so that's good. You can like that Brandon Young continues to prove to be worthy of being a major league starter. You could even squint and say you like some of the things you saw from Trey Gibson on Friday. Not enough that it justifies keeping him in the rotation over Kramer, but you can squint and say, hey, from it being 3-0 and then obviously the bases loaded and nobody out in the third inning, from that point, he really looked like a major league pitcher in a difficult spot. You can do all of those things. They have to play really good baseball for a prolonged period of time. Can they? As in physically, are they capable of it? I guess. They're going to play the game, so I can't say definitively that they're not. But he's mad because I guess Tim Howard says it's literally impossible for the U.S. to win the World Cup. Well, no.
Zlatan said we could, though.
Yeah, no, it's not literally impossible, but I get it. I don't think they're going to win the World Cup either. I understand.
Well, you're not American.
That's great.
You're leaving the country because
that's right.
How
all of a sudden we're good at soccer.
get me out of here.
I don't want to be a part of this. Can they? Yes. And we continue to say that the parts are greater than the whole. So, the whole maybe could catch up to the parts at some point. Maybe. Do I expect it? No. What would I be basing that off of? But even if I say that, it doesn't mean that they can't. This is the problem. I can't do the hot take bullshit. Nothing that we've seen would suggest that all the Orioles needed to do was go win 2 games in L.A. and everything's going to turn. They swept the best team in the American League a couple weeks ago. How did they follow that up?
I can't remember. Not. I mean, they didn't go on a run. Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And the evidence that we have would suggest that they're just as likely to somehow figure out a way to lose 2 out of 3 in Anaheim as they are to suddenly win 6 of their next 8. But we'll find out. And we can react to what we saw. And we can have conversations. And we can continue to discuss whether or not Tyler O'Neill should be on the baseball team. And that's a more relevant conversation now that Heston Kjerstad's, actually playing baseball and performing, albeit in AAA. He's still never done anything at the major league level that would suggest he needs to have a roster spot, but at least there's something that would warrant the conversation, unlike when we were trying to fire Tyler O'Neill a couple weeks ago and there was literally nothing that would justify the conversation. You can at least point that out. Or maybe you could keep whatever the
Siani?
Snooki's husband, Siani. You could keep that guy around. He's not a Major League Baseball player, but sure. I mean, we just hate Tyler O'Neill so much that maybe you could do that. I don't know. We'll talk about all of it. But to predict or to say, like, everything changed for the Orioles? No, they won 2 baseball games. Cool. I'm glad they did that. I prefer it when they win to when they lose. But the good vibes that they carried from the end of May, this is the first series they won since the first 3 days of June. They have to do dramatically more than this to justify it. And again, that doesn't mean they can't. Like, this is the dip. You're going to talk yourself in circles. Because everything, when it's clipped, and when Griffin puts it up from when a guest says it, we only hear the one. But the truth is, it's a more complete conversation. I'm not calling it Griffin. It's just
whatever is posted in 60 seconds.
It's the nature of Twitter. Like, any one of these things that I said, you'd put up and you'd be like, oh, so you think they're horrible? No!
Well, you do, though.
I think at this point, they deserve to be 3 games under 500. That's a pretty accurate reflection of who they are. But if at some point they change that, which they can, then we reflect on that. And for a little while, we were reflecting on that. Christ, I for some reason, Griffin refused to clip this one. But a couple weeks ago, Ken Zales was trying to claim that we owed money. Why did we not clip that?
I don't know. I didn't get to it.
Probably brought that up 75 times. Lord. Alex Freeman, I tell you to clip, and you got it done. Well, actually, I clipped it. I take that back. But you posted it at least.
Well, because
you're fired up about soccer.
Yeah, I like soccer.
God,
the soccer's good. The baseball's not good.
You're watching what's getting the clips. God, the clicks. They're too similar to each other. If the Orioles start playing for 13 games the way that they did around then we'll talk about that and we'll react to it and we'll have the conversation. But right now, they just won 2 games in L.A. Good. Fun. Neat. I'm in favor of them scoring 12 runs every game. I'm in favor of
Brennan Young pitching every game.
I guess. I'm definitely in favor of Pete
Rogers.
Alonso facing the Dodgers more frequently. Loves facing the Dodgers, that guy. Let's do more of that. I'm in favor of good weeks of Colton Cowser. I'm in favor of basically everything but Ryan Helsley. Like, pretty much everything but Ryan Helsley and Tyler O'Neill. Like, that's
well,
where
at
we're
at.
at.
It seems like they're not in favor of Tyler O'Neill either. So
I mean, they're not playing him
Right,
other than when they needed a defensive replacement. Well, at least nothing went wrong when he came in as a defensive replacement. What could go wrong? Clearly, he's going to make a nice throw home and give yourself a chance of getting it out. Do you want to quickly do what are we at time-wise?
We got 5 minutes. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, we don't really need more than that. Let's just do the thing.
Do we?
We really don't, because
feel
it's
like-
all the stuff that I've already brought up. I've already brought it all up at this point. Like, let's just go ahead and do it.
But plus, it's taking me a minute now.
That's not. I didn't budget for that.
Three up.
And 3 down.
3 Up and 3 Down, brought to you by the print issue of Press Box. Coming in 2 days, brand new print issue of Press Box featuring Kevin Brown on the cover, Orioles play-by-play voice. You'll be able to pick that up in 2 days at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores, anywhere around town where you find Press Box. Read it all, PressBoxOnline.com. This was a 3-3 week, but the up feels like the winner given how it went, so we'll go with down first. My number 3 is where I put Samuel Basallo. Not that it's even like he had a miserable week, and I actually greatly respect the fact that he said, no, I'm catching day game after a night game. I don't give a rat's ass. I think that's great that he chose to do that. But he did OPS 581 for the week, and then you combine that with what happened on Friday night, and not that it's individually his fault because the throw wasn't good and maybe it could have been backed up better. And look, we'll get to the guy whose fault it really is, but there's kind of no way around that. Like, he needs to make that play, period. I can't hide from it. The more I watch it, even if the ball takes a funny hop, you have to lay out. You have to give in the effort that no way is this ball getting past me when the game is on the line. Love Samuel Basallo. Obviously, he can hit. He looks like Vladimir Guerrero sometimes. He hits balls. His plate coverage is insane. But you have to prevent that ball from getting past you. And he didn't have a great week offensively. And it wasn't a week in which there were a lot of guys to pile on. So Samuel Basallo gets to be number 3.
Yeah, that's why I feel Basallo not on my list. I mean, maybe I'm not throwing enough shade at him for what shade. I feel like that sounded weird when I
did sort of sound like something else. You're not wrong.
Didn't throw enough shade at him for Friday night. I mean, yeah, that was just an awful. I want to forget about it. But I mean, it still feels like he's coming through. Like when Gunnar and Ward or any form of Gunnar, Ward, Alonso get on in front of him, it feels like he's coming through. Like he drove in the first run yesterday. I feel like he still is hitting well enough. So Adley is my number 3, and I know he got hurt, and he obviously didn't play the last 3 games, but he did not play well in the Seattle series. He didn't hit well in the Seattle series, and maybe that's more like I'm going in thinking Adley always hits well in the Pacific Northwest, and he just didn't. So, again, it was a relatively balanced offensive attack from the Orioles, and Adley went 1 for 12, so he's on my list.
Kobe Mayo went 1 for 11 this week. Again, just a tough week. That's all. Just a really tough week, so he gets to be number 2.
Yeah, and they didn't rule it in error in the bottom of the ninth on Friday night, but I mean,
that's a play.
You should get an out from that.
You'd like him to make, no doubt.
So Kobe Mayo is my number 2 as well. Struck out 5 times.
And obviously, this week was easy. Ryan Helsley's number 1, and look, all you can do is hope that it's out of his system. That's it. You just hope that whatever it is, he flushes it out, and this isn't the return of the Mets version of Ryan Helsley coming back from the injured list.
Maybe we should call Craig Kimbrell.
No.
No? Oh,
nope, definitely not that. Whatever you do,
I mean, he basically is Craig Kimbrell.
I talked about it because I did the pregame show on Saturday on BAL. I know he was asked afterwards about, did you get Rico up? I am okay with Steve Johnson and I had the conversation. Steve's point is, look, he was 1 pitch away from getting out of it. And that part is correct. So I'm okay with we believe that Ryan Helsley can go get it. The only thing I didn't like about the answer from Craig Albernaz is it suggests that he's so above reproach that he couldn't possibly be pulled. Like the way that he just brought it is like, it's his inning. It's 9th inning. Yeah, okay. If it looks like this, it don't need to be. I don't really have beef with, we left him in there because we believed he was going to get the job done. But the idea that the 9th inning is somehow sacred and belongs to Ryan Helsley, like what has Ryan Helsley done that makes that the case?
Yeah, like obviously Craig Kimbrell, that 9th inning belongs to him. He's a Hall of Famer.
You can't pull that guy out. Yeah. So Ryan Helsley's number 1, and it wasn't particularly close.
It's not what closers are supposed to do.
My number 3 on the up list is where I put Kyle Bradish. You know that there were guys that had good weeks when somebody can go 7-2 innings.
I guess I feel like I might need to fight you. I mean, he's my number 1.
There's no way that he's above the other guy.
Yeah, yes,
no way.
He had 12 strikes. He pitched into the 8th inning. He should have got
to
8 innings.
Against the Dodgers in L.A. Not comparable. Not comparable.
It is comparable. It's
not
100%
comparable.
He had 12 strikeouts.
The Dodgers are the best team in the history
of his career.
Baseball. Spare me. Kyle Bradish was really good and deserves to be on the list. What Trevor Rogers did on Saturday is effing insane. It's insane. It's not comparable to anything that we've seen. Nothing.
I mean, okay.
The Dodgers.
I
they
get
don't
it.
lose. They're the Monstars. They literally have Michael Jordan and George Murason's. Was it George No, it's Sean Bradley. And Sean Bradley's powers. Spare me. With respect, Kyle Bradish was great, but he didn't do it against the Dodgers. My God.
Take my headphones off. That was loud.
Yeah, you over here. Number 2.
Kyle Bradish had 12 strikeouts. And
neat.
It was
That's a neat thing to do.
He was incredible on
Nobody's
Wednesday
saying he
night.
shouldn't be on the list. He should be on the list. And you could argue that he could be above Blaze Alexander, but then I'd have to really think about that because Blaze Alexander is the best player in the history of baseball.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Blaze Alexander's number 2.
So the Orioles have the best player in the history of baseball, but they were facing the best team.
Yes, it's weird how that works. It's very strange.
It was Blaze, Rogers, Bradish.
You could say that all you want. It sure as hell isn't. What Trevor Rogers did is just effing insane. It's so insane that happened. Holy hell. And yes, even more so because of what happened on Friday night. Like that's the rock bottomy of rock bottomiest. That's the all right, just put a fork in them, they're done. It's over. God bless them. That's it. There ain't no coming back from that. To turn around and allow one hit over 7 shutout innings against the Dodgers. It's truly perhaps the most insane performance in recent Orioles memory. And yet,
well, then Bradish struck out 12 guys, though.
That's neat. I'm glad that he struck out a bunch of guys. It's very neat. He didn't do it against the Dodgers. We'll get that up at glennclarkradio.com. Let's talk more about the Orioles. He was out there on the West Coast talking about an interesting sort of anniversary that was marked over the weekend. He covers the Orioles for the Baltimore Sun. He's our friend Jacob Calvin Meyer, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Jacob, it's Glenn. It's good to chat with you. Appreciate you taking the time for us as always, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
I was really interested in what you wrote this weekend, Jacob, because I hadn't thought about sort of the 2-year marker of they just bludgeoned the Yankees. Everything was coming up Orioles. They had new ownership. They had gone out and gotten it. Like everything was going the right way. And I don't know, maybe these last 2 days will prove to be something, but I'm not ready to go there just yet. It really is amazing that this is where they find themselves 2 years removed from being kind of the kings of the baseball world.
Yeah, I think about that game in New York, that series in New York in June 2024, which, if you remember, followed a really fun home series with a big win on, I believe, Father's Day against the Phillies before that series. And it just felt like the Orioles were on top of the world. And that after the way 2023 went, aside from the playoffs and the way that 24 had started, that this was going to plan, right? That this rebuild had fully worked and that there would be a consistent winner in Baltimore. And then, obviously, as Mike Elias later pointed out, after he fired Brandon Hyde in May 2025, he sort of referenced June 2024 as the moment where he said, quote, we were on top of the baseball world in every facet, is what he said. Again, at the time in June 2024, they had the best farm system in baseball too. And, we don't have to relitigate the way that the 24 season ended and what happened last season and even what's happened so far this year. But I think I had somebody, after I posted that story, somebody asked me kind of like, what the hell happened here? Like, how do you wrap your head around it? And I think there's probably 4 main buckets that I would put it in, right? Like, there's probably 1,000 different reasons, and not one of them would be a majority. I think, they're all making up a small percentage of this, but I think one big one is regression. I think if we're going to be honest with ourselves, the 2023, the 22, 23, and even the 24 teams were probably not as good as we thought they were. And frankly, the Pythagorean record, the base runs record, kind of proved that out. And now we're sort of seeing maybe a little bit of a bounce back of that. There have been several front office decisions that have gone wrong in the time since June 2024. Charlie Morton, Gary Sanchez, Tyler O'Neill. There have been a lot of injuries, right? The 23 team didn't deal with any injuries at all. And June 24 is when the team started dealing with injuries. Bradish went down, Kula went down. July is when Westbrook went down, Mountcastle went down. And so there have been a lot of injuries since then. That's a big part of this. And then, frankly, over the past 2 years is when we started to see underperformance from the young core. I don't think you can say that any member of the young core outside of Basayo and Beavers, who weren't in the majors yet at that time, have a higher stock today than they did in June 2024. And so it's hard for me to wrap my head around it, but when I do it that way, when I try to put it in buckets, it sort of makes a little bit more sense when I do it that way.
No, I think all four of those check out. I think the follow-up that's interesting to me, Jacob, is that group still there? Like, is the spirit of the 2024 Orioles still attainable somehow from this group, or is it dead? And I don't know, again, that they had 2 good wins in LA this weekend, right? So I guess the vibes are slightly higher today. But when everybody keeps saying, like, can they play better? Yeah, they can play better because we know that their parts are better than the whole has been. But is the spirit of that still attainable for this core group as constructed? Or does it just sort of work this way that, like, once you're there and you fall off, there's kind of no going back until the parts start to change?
Well, I think it can be both, right? In the sense that I think it's dead, right? I don't think we all, especially me, if they have a great comeback win or they play well for a couple days, and it reminds me of something that happened in 23 or the beginning of 24, I kind of reference it in my head. But that's never coming back in the sense of the way that it happened, the way that it felt, the sort of like the vibe of that team. That's not coming back. But what can happen is it can look different. It can be different. They can still be a good team moving forward at some point, but it's not going to look or feel the same way. And here's why, right? Like, the 24 team had Corbin Burns on it, and Anthony Santander hit 44 homers. They don't have either of those things right now. Gunnar Henderson put up a legitimate MVP caliber campaign. They don't have that either. Colton Cowser is now playing well, but he was a star player in 2024. In June 2024, Adley Rutschman was arguably the best young catcher in the history of the sport.
Yeah. And
he's been good this season, but he's been on the IL 4 times in the past 365 days. And so this team is far too different in its makeup, in where it needs to be good for there to be kind of a return of 23-24. But what it can be is you still see the parts there. You see the way that they played this weekend. They have enough to be – it looks like it's going to take like 84 wins. This team is certainly capable of winning 84 games. And if they don't do it, it will be a lot of people's faults. But it's not going to exactly look like it did in 23 or 24.
Jacob Calvin Meyer is with us here on GCR. You point out that they could get to that point. And maybe I have made too much of this, but I think their clock is ticking a lot faster than the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
I think the clock is really surrounding the deadline because I don't think this team is constituted. There is a ceiling where they can, even if they were to somehow sneak in, get the third wild card in a down American League, they're just not good enough on paper to me to be able to do anything with that. I mean, I get it. It's the playoffs and anything can happen. I understand we say those things all the time. But in a practical sense, I don't think that's possible. I'm not even suggesting that I think they're one move away from that, but I do think that the vibes can shift if you somehow win a boatload of games between now and August 3rd, and now it is worth being aggressive, and you are, really pursuing, I don't know, Joe Ryan, someone with maybe even a little bit of control. I think that you can completely change the vibes based on what happens there. But if you're even in the spot that you're in right now or regress at all from that point, I think you really have to ask some big questions about what you do. I don't even know the elegant way of saying it, right? But it feels like the next month is really almost like the most imperative month of this era of Orioles baseball to me, because you've got to figure out if there is still something here or not.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head. And when I say, like, yeah, they have a chance to get to 84 wins or whatever, you know, in my head, I'd say it's a 25% chance or a 20% chance.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what Fangraphs gives them to make the playoffs. And those are not good odds, right? Nobody would take those odds right now. If at the beginning of the season, if somebody had gone up to you and said, "Hey, there's a 25% chance they're gonna get the third wild card spot," you would have been like, "What?
Yeah, this is gross.
What the heck went wrong?"
Right.
And if those are the odds a month from now or 6 weeks from now, I'm not sure how much Michael Elias is going to push his chips to the middle of the table. I will say one thing that I found quite refreshing about Pete Alonso's addition to the team and his leadership style is I really do recommend fans anytime that he talks to the media to kind of to really listen in, because frankly a lot of it is sort of like cliches and the typical player stuff, but then every once in a while he's quite honest, and he does not beat around the bush. He also talks quite loud in the clubhouse, which I find interesting, and guys are listening. And he said yesterday, we are kind of creeping up to the halfway point here, and for us, now's the time. This has to be the time.
Yeah.
Okay. We all know what Pete Alonso is talking about there, and he knows it. And so, yes, you are right. It's not even August 3rd. It's frankly, it might be the break, or maybe it's a week after the All-Star break. That is when teams are going to really decide what to do. And you know, I listened to John Mioli on last week, which was fantastic as always. And he referenced something to the effect of, like, the odds of Elias buying in some form are quite high because of the state of the minors, and they have a lot of players
that they can't put on the roster.
Right. So is it in theory possible that there could be, let's say they find themselves in a month in the same spot that they are now, where, you know, they're 3 games back, but they're 5 games under 500 or whatever. You know, could they do sort of a mix of buying and selling? Maybe. But that doesn't really feel like Elias to me. In 22, they had a chance. And I know things are a lot different now, but they sold it in 22 because he didn't really feel like they had a chance. This front office feels like an all-in type of front office to me, and they're gonna make a decision, and whatever they're gonna decide, they're gonna do. And so you're right. If they can play well enough over the next month, one of the things that could really change the trajectory of the season is if they go out and they get a stud starting pitcher and a great left-handed reliever. And then you look at it and go, okay, now they're really in this thing, and that can catapult them forward. But at the same time, even if they do those things, I'm not sure how much it means for October. I don't think anybody can point at this team and say that this is a team that can make a run in the playoffs. But it's not. Frankly, it's not really about that at this point, right? I don't want to sound like Jim Mora, but I think so. I don't know if it was on your show. I think it was. I think it was Chris Rose last week said something to the effect of, like, would fans be okay if they, like, made the playoffs and then won the wild card series but lost in the ALDS? And I looked at that and was like, if that happens, this season is, I wouldn't say it's a success from what the expectations were coming in, but I would assume, yes, the fans would take that. If they can make the playoffs and win a game, a playoff series, with where we stand right now, that seems like sort of the best case scenario to me.
What you're reflecting is, like, something would have had to have gone right, like, between now. And that I think is a big part of it. Like, I don't think you can do that without either, like, Jackson Holliday coming to life and looking like the guy that the Orioles thought he was, or Gunnar just being a more complete version. Something has to have gone. Colton Cowser being more consistent. Anything that could go right. That it's, to your point, it's a little bit about winning the series, but it's more about sort of the trajectory of where this group is and the belief that they could still do it together. I think that would be what would be reflected by that type of run.
Yeah, this feels too, like, I don't know, like, ephemeral to really put, like, a pin in.
Yeah.
But what fans want is a team that they believe in. And the 2022 team was not very good. And they didn't make the playoffs. And that was very different then because they weren't even out of the rebuild yet. But fans believed in that team, whatever that team was. And it has been more than 2 years since fans it's been at least 2 years since fans kind of believed in this team and believed going into a game, going into a series, that they would win the game, that they would win the series. And that is sort of what they have an opportunity to change here if they can play a little bit better, if they can do some things at the deadline. And then maybe they go into September and then you kind of capture some of that back for the fan base. And then you go into October and see what happens. But that's a tall task given where they stand. Again, they're 5 games below. And at some point, the cream is going to rise to the top. We are not going to see an 81-win team make the playoffs. It's just I'm willing to be wrong about that. It's going to take 84, 85, 86 wins. And to get there, they need to play at a 90-win pace for the rest of the season. And we haven't seen them do that for a very, very long time.
That's the reality. Jacob Calvin Meyer with us here on GCR. I want to get your thoughts because you and I talked a little bit last week. I don't like being the guy that ends up I've been doing the heavy lifting on this, but I do think the Adley Rutschman conversation is relevant. And I think it's relevant in the context of what are you going to be as a franchise? Because, as I pointed, if you go out and get Joe Ryan at the deadline, then what are we talking about? But I keep coming back to, other than 1 year of Corbin Burns, the Orioles have not swung for the type of what they've swung. I don't want to be unfair. They have swung, but they have not landed the type of pitching that would be required to genuinely believe that you have a chance at winning a World Series. And my point, and the reason why I'm at least considering the conversation about Adley Rutschman is, if you don't intend to change that, and I get that it's complicated with a potential work stoppage, but if you don't intend to change that, then how are you selling me that you're trying or there's a genuine chance of winning a World Series next year? And if you're not, and Adley Rutschman's not signing, then don't you at least have to talk about it and consider that possibility? And I'm not, banging the drum or saying that it's what I want them to do or what I think they have to do, as much as it's I need them to tell me what really the plan is here, because if it's just to be a team that's in the mix to win a wild card, and if everything goes right, compete for the division, I don't know. That doesn't seem like that's a good argument for holding on to an asset instead of trying to recoup value for it.
Yeah. No, this is a really complicated and interesting topic. Before I talk, let's just have two assumptions moving forward. Let's just assume, one, that Adley's going to be back in 5 days from this concussion.
Sure, yes.
We have no idea how long this is going to take.
Yep.
But let's just assume he's, all's good and he's going to be back
and
in
he
6 days or
keeps
whatever.
performing well. He keeps
right.
Yeah.
Right. And then second, let's ignore the lockout. Let's just say that we know that they're going to start on time next season. Just for the purposes of this. Okay. So, there is, in my view, for this trade deadline, a virtually 0% chance that he's traded if the Orioles are still hoping to compete in this season or next season. If you trade him, it is another mini rebuild. And because I don't see, it would be frankly, like a tacit admission from Elias that stage one or plan A of this rebuild, which was all built on Adley Rutschman, that it failed. And you don't trade one of the best catchers in baseball, which is what he is.
Yep. When
he's healthy. You don't trade that if you're still trying to compete. And so now, is there in theory, if you're playing MLB The Show, can you trade Rutschman and get somebody, a starting pitcher back, like a really quality starting, maybe, but that's not usually how these go. Like, you're going to get prospects back for Adley Rutschman. And so if you trade him, that means you're going to do a sort of a mini rebuild, that you're sort of admitting, like, hey, 27 might not be our year and we're going to gear up for 28. And and I don't see why they would do that. Now, if they fall off the wagon here and they lose 10 straight and they're selling at the deadline, anything is possible, right? Like anything is possible if they're selling at the deadline. And then you go into the offseason, and if, let's say, they don't make the playoffs this year, they go into the offseason, they have one more year of Adley Rutschman, and they're not able to extend him, then again, anything is on the table when it comes to that stuff. But I just go back to the point that if you trade him, you're admitting that you're not able to make the playoffs in that upcoming season. And so I found it quite illuminating last week when Jeff Passan came out with his trade
100.
deadline article. Yeah, and he listed 100 players who could be traded at the deadline, and he listed 5 Orioles players, and Adley Rutschman was not on the list. And there are people in the national baseball scene who love to, put all of us like we're hamsters on a wheel and spin us round and round. And the content machine is always going to win, and they're going to get their impressions, and that is okay. But there's a difference between, and this is coming from somebody who I'm not.
Yeah, you're not nobody's going to say you're a homer. Nobody's going to say that you're an apologist, right. Anything along those lines.
Right. It's if Adley Rutschman is going to be traded, like if Jeff Passan or Ken Rosenthal come out and say it, like I'll believe it a lot more than some other people, if that makes sense.
I totally understand that.
And I'll say this too. I saw, I don't know who tweeted it, but it was one of the popular fan accounts who tweeted something like if the Orioles offered Adley like 5 for 80 or 84 or something, like what, and it was like 5 for 84, would he take it right now or something like that? And I got to tell you, I think that number's way low. And I think it would take much more than that. And like Cal Raleigh got 6 for 110, and that covered, a few years of arbitration. And then a few years ago, JT Realmuto got 5 for 115, I think. Mm-hmm. Adley Rutschman's in that camp. And so there's 2 ways to look at it. It's like, one, like that's a lot of money for a catcher, and he's going to be 30. He's had 4 injuries in the past year. Are the Orioles going to be able to win a bidding war if he gets to free agency? If you're Adley at this point, why would you not go to free agency?
That's the
right?
issue.
You're like, why would you not go to free agency? And then you look at it and go, okay, the Yankees really need a catcher. I know Orioles fans aren't going to win, but the Yankees seem to really need a catcher. And there's going to be some team like the Angels or something who are going to get into a bidding war for Adley's services. So there's one way to look at it and go, like, can the Orioles win that? On the other hand, if you look at kind of this young core and the guys, like when they get to free agency, like even let's say Gunnar gets back on track, Gunnar's going to get paid 300, 400, 500 million.
In context.
That is that's a much different discussion than Adley, who is going to get paid 120 to 150 or something like that. And the Orioles can afford to pay Adley Rutschman. They can 100% afford it. And so I'm thinking it might be a little bit more likely that they're able to retain Adley, win that bidding war in free agency, in theory, if they get there. And so that's why, again, I think the trading him, while it's a really interesting discussion, and from an asset management standpoint, that makes sense. If John Angelos was still the owner of this team, the odds of selling Adley Rutschman at this deadline or in the offseason would be much higher, because asset management was the number one way that they viewed things. That's really not how things have operated. They paid $8.5 million for Gary Sanchez last offseason. Like, they're willing to throw away some money. So why not do it for a kind of cornerstone generational type catcher in Adley Rutschman?
Jacob, I agree with everything you just said. I just keep coming back to, but the one place they haven't is pitching. And that, to me, not taking anything away, because, my God, they've actually pitched pretty well of late. But the difference in me believing that they are a team that is capable of making a deep playoff run is, do you have those horses? And I just need to see them at some point show that commitment, that we understand that's what this requires. And maybe one day down the road, Joseph Zerwa is going to be that guy, but he's not going to be that guy next year, right? Like, and I just keep, until you do, it feels like you want to be competitive, but not really taking it seriously enough to the extent of winning a World Series.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the 24 season is that sweep in 24 is probably so much more painful than the one in 23 because I think that's the only year where you could argue that they did build a pitching staffer, right? Like if Bradish hadn't gotten hurt, which of course he's probably going to because he had the PRP and all that stuff. But if Bradish hadn't gotten hurt, they certainly had a good enough rotation. But they had Burns, they had Eflin. Those guys combined to give up 2 runs in the playoffs.
Yep.
And Eflin was I think I saw something recently that there was kind of some revisionist history, like criticism of the 24 deadline. And
he was the most effective starter acquired at the deadline.
Right. There was only one good starting pitcher who was traded at that deadline, and it was Zach Eflin, and he pitched amazing for this team. So it's important not to forget that. But you're right in the fact that this team cannot win in the playoffs with the rotation that they currently have right now. It is going to take reinforcements, and they need to get a guy who's a top of the rotation arm.
Yep.
They either need to have somebody turn into that, they need to develop somebody into that, or they need to go out and acquire one moving forward. But for me, that's a little bit of a different conversation than the Adley Rutschman one.
Yeah, I get it. Right. Yeah, sign Adley Rutschman and then do that. Yeah, yeah.
My dad's been an Orioles fan. My dad's 67. He's been an Orioles fan his whole life, and he'll call me sometimes when he sees something that angers him. They miss a cutoff man or whatever. Cal Ripken's going to fix.
You've been getting a lot of calls, haven't you? You've been getting a lot.
Yeah, Cal Ripken's going to fix all the fundamentals, yeah. So but he'll call me angrily. He goes he goes, a World Series team doesn't do that, and I go, Dad, what makes you think this is a World? This is not a World Series team. But so the thing with this is, and the Adley Rutschman discussion is two different things, because it's like, okay, if you're playing OOTP, which is like a baseball manager simulation game, and you're at the deadline and you just say, okay, I don't think this team can win a World Series in the next 2 years, therefore logically I should trade Adley Rutschman. Like, yes, that is sound process if we were on the New York Stock Exchange and these were stocks, but that's not exactly what this is.
Yeah, there's
and
more.
I know it's not. I understand fans don't want to hear this. This isn't just about winning a World Series. You are a civic institution of a way.
Entity,
you are an organization. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to go out and try to win games, and being a good team is better than not being a good team. And even if you're just a good team and you make the playoffs and you win a series or you win a game, that is a worthwhile pursuit. And sometimes you might get to a World Series like the Diamondbacks a few years ago, or luck into one. Or maybe you'll have a team that's good enough, and then you do go in and buy. But I don't think it should be a situation, because then at that point, listen, what are the odds that the Orioles win a World Series in one of the next 3 seasons? The odds of that are probably below 5 or 6%.
They're still low.
So then they should just trade Gunnar Henderson at that point, right? And of course that's not the case. So it's difficult to have this discussion, because it's like, yeah, they're not a World Series team right now, but that doesn't mean that they should sort of just give up on trying to at least be a good team. Before you can be a great team, you need to be a good team.
Jacob Calvin Meyer, I enjoy our conversations. I really do. And I appreciate the thought that you put into it. At J. Calvin Meyer, of course, is how you follow him in the Baltimore Sun, baltimoresun.com. I'm going to be out of the country for a bit, but when I get back, let's do this again as we get closer to the deadline. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for hopping on, man.
Out of the country for a bit. Where are you going?
I'm headed to Tanzania, of all places. We're better to celebrate our nation's 250th birthday than my mother-in-law had a bucket list thing. She wanted to take my kids on a African safari, so I'm spending 2 weeks on a safari in Africa, brother. It's gonna be a wild time.
2 weeks in 2 weeks in Tanzania with the in-laws?
Yeah, well, it's just my mother-in-law. It's the 4 of us and my mother-in-law. That's who it is.
Okay.
And I get along. Everything will be fine. My kids are the far bigger problem, because they're going to be on a plane for 14 hours. I got a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old on 2 separate 7-hour flights. It's going to be a mess. It's just going to be a disaster.
Godspeed. Well, there's one good thing about going to Tanzania for 2 weeks. The Orioles cannot hurt you in Tanzania.
I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about it at all, which is kind of nice. Appreciate you, brother.
Well, listen, if they play really well in these 2 weeks,
I might have to stay. I might have to stay.
You got to stay. Yeah, let's start a GoFundMe to keep Glenn in Tanzania.
God. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you. Thank you, dude.
Yep. Thanks. See ya.
Jacob Calvin Meyer with us. I have thought about that. By the way, you can go ahead. I know we gotta. Okay. It's fine. We'll figure it out. I have thought about that. What happens if the Orioles, while I'm gone, like somehow go 10-3? Do I come back? I have said for the good. I feel like we had this conversation.
When they went on that 10-game win
That's what I
streak,
thought.
We had the week off.
And I said,
we did take 2 weeks off again. I think that was because we were switching offices.
Yes, and I was working the college the World Lacrosse World Championships a couple years ago. We had this. I knew we had had this conversation before. If somehow, while I'm gone, the Orioles roll off 10 straight wins, I want to make this abundantly clear. I won't do the show. I come back, I'll come back, but I won't do the show until it's clear it ain't me. If
they're
me,
actively on a double-digit win streak,
yes. If they keep
on the
winning,
day we're supposed to come back.
Nope, we're not doing a show. That's it.
Got it.
And I think it lucks out that it's the All-Star break, if I remember correctly.
That's true. Yeah. Well, so then we'd have to be all like if they're.
Yeah. Oh, I'm saying we won't do a show until it's clear that it's not us.
Gotcha.
Because if it's us, if they win like 14 out of 15, then I'm not messing with it. For the good of the community, you're welcome. Let's talk some World Cup. Speaking of you're welcome, the U.S. now 2-0 at the World Cup. They have clinched their group. They will definitely be in the knockout round. And it hasn't been great for my team in our World Cup pool. You know this man, long-time successful goalie here in Baltimore, and someone who I know is very vested in Brazil's success at the World Cup. He is our buddy William Vanzela, and he's back with us now here on GCR. William, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you, pal. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Hey, man. I'm happy to talk to you all. Happy to be back. Glad to catch up.
Hey, buddy. We talked, I remember, the morning after the U.S. failed to qualify for the World Cup, which is probably the darkest moment. I'm thinking about the juxtaposition of that to now. What has changed for American soccer? And I'm not trying to suggest that, like, they're going to win the World Cup. But it is clear, just from watching Flo Balogun, just from, frankly, watching Baltimore's own Alex Freeman, Chris Richards, like, it's not just one guy. It's not just Pulisic, who we're all hopeful about. There definitely appears to have been a change at the way this program looks and what they might be capable of.
Yeah, I don't think it's just one thing that changed, but you can see there's some big steps going to the right direction, I would say, and they might not connect it. They're all over the place, but at the end of the day, they go back and connect the dots, if you know what I mean. There's more players going to play internationally, so they have better experience playing at a higher level. There's the earlier development. There's a bunch that is happening that is helping to supply players that have better quality. And to watch Just USA play right now, in my opinion, obviously you have a guy that is a difference maker in the game. But now he is connecting with somebody that if you make your plays, he will tap in and score the goals. I think that's what the biggest piece for U.S. before was, have somebody that was able to score the few chances that you get. Because in the World Cup, you know, despite the easy games of the group stage, you won't get many goal opportunities. So you have to convert the ones that you get. And I think that combination it's working on benefit for U.S. And right now, U.S. has the momentum, is playing at home.
Wow.
And it's going to be quite difficult to knock U.S. out if that happens. I agree with you. To think that they can be the World Cup champions, it's tough to think that way. But if you're looking just at games and how much U.S. produced in those games and how less they got threatened, and yeah, easy games. We can talk about that Paraguay, probably worst game of their history. It doesn't matter. It's what U.S. presented, and if you're looking in the two games, they are a contender right now.
Wow. You used a word there, William. You used the word momentum, and it's an interesting word to me because now that the U.S. has clinched the group, everyone says the obvious thing to do. You tell Christian Pulisic it doesn't even matter if he could play in the next one. There's no way he does. You go to all the guys who are sitting on yellows and you say, you're all sitting for this third match as well because we don't want to run the risk of you having to miss a knockout round match. And I still think mathematically that makes the most sense, but you use that word momentum. Is there any argument to you of you don't want to mess with this right now? Like you want to keep the vibes up and maybe some of those guys should play to try to keep that momentum instead of running the risk of you sit everybody and it ends up being like 0-0 or maybe even, disastrously you lose to Turkey in the third group stage match?
It really depends on your roster and who you have it behind that player that you're debating or not to play. Like Pulisic, in my opinion, that's a different one. If he's injured and he's still not feeling the best, you give him another week to recover. He does not need to be on the field for that match. If he's not 100% and telling you that he's 100%, I wouldn't take the risk. The guys in the yellow, if they're, if the replacement it is a head-to-head or close, then I personally, as a coach, I wouldn't take the risk.
Okay.
And you can still get the momentum because it's not worth it. It might kill a little bit of the momentum, but you're still playing at home. You already reached what it was the initial goal is to, go over the group stage. It's a tough call. I know players would ask to play, but you don't want to lose a player that you might regret not having for the knockout stage because you played them in a game that wasn't necessary.
I completely get it, and it's notable that three of the guys are arguably your three best players to this point in Balogun, Adams, and Richards, right?
Don't disagree with you.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough, right? I think that you're right, and then there's this part of me that is terrified. This is the eternal rest versus rust conversation. That if they get off to a sluggish start in the round of 32, you're gonna be like, "Oh no, they should have been playing." What are we doing here?
Yeah, but let me just flip the coin, let you think in the other way. Now, what happens if one of these guys actually get injured and the replacement is never set the foot on the World Cup game, and now it's a knockout stage, and they're going to feel the pressure. So if you play them right now and they played well, so you already feel the relief, okay, I have those options. I know those guys will take care of business if we need to. So sometimes you want them to just have the feeling of playing, break the ice, and be ready if you need it for the next match.
We're chatting with William Vanzela here on GCR. William, obviously goalkeeping is your area. That was probably the biggest question mark. I think the defense was a pretty big question mark coming in, but as I mentioned, Alex Freeman in particular has been a revelation clearly for the U.S. here in this World Cup. The goalkeeping probably the biggest, right? What do you make of Matt Freese? He did allow the one goal, obviously, in the first match. He hasn't faced a lot of difficult shots otherwise. Are you nervous about that? Just give me your thumbnail about Matt Freese.
It's first of all, it's tough for anybody to go and put the number one jersey after Tim Howard retired. It's just that weight of that jersey, and since he retired, everybody feels that pressure. It's hard to replace a guy that did so much for the country in on and off the field in many components. So that's a pressure. Yeah, it's questionable, but he has been solid for what he presented. There's not much challenge. Didn't have to face much. Australia and Paraguay were not, on their final third and creating some trouble. But he responded well for the little bit that he was requested. And again, it builds confidence. That you're playing well. Your back line is also playing well and helping. So I think he's gonna be there when he need it, and hopefully he can make that one save. That's usually what we talk about, right? the keeper that you wanted to have is that keeper that makes that save when you need it the most.
I also feel
we're watching the World Cup just very quickly,
yeah.
but how many goalkeeping, like outstanding performance that you can just go over and over, that this World Cup is presenting very strong goalkeepers all over the board.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, like, do we really not even know? Like, it feels like in part of the reason why they went with Freese as the starter was really because of the knockout round. Like, it really feels like they're trusting him to save PKs or, you know, to come up with one. And there's no way to replicate that, right? Like, you can't have an answer on that until you're in that spot.
Yeah. I honestly, that's my individual personal idea. I don't think he was selected because of that.
Okay.
That might be the reason why, if it's a 50-50 between all of them, he could be, you know, much better in PKs. But you've seen over and over in World Cups, teams changing the keepers as they're going over overtime and putting the second string keeper because he was better in PKs. So that could be also a factor if they were closing skills. There's something else that Pochettino feels better about. It might be his crosses, his ability to deal with those arrow balls. I honestly don't know. We would never know what there was for him to decide between the three of them.
I get it. I just thinking about, he had an awesome performance in PKs against Costa Rica last year in the Gold Cup, which I acknowledge is the Gold Cup, but like, it really did stand out to me as like the moment that I thought he kind of made himself the World Cup keeper at that point.
I think instead of thinking that he would excel in the goalkeeping, I think he would think of the word trust.
Yeah.
Because when the goalkeeper owns the trust from a coach that, you know, you did something big, then the coach trusts you, and there you go. You know, I know because you talk about Brazil, you're asking like, between all the Brazilian keepers, why is Alisson continues to be the one? And the coach already said, and the goalkeeper coach said, this is the guy we trust. So the trust relationship is very big for a selection of a goalkeeper.
William, right now, how many teams do you believe are capable of winning this World Cup?
There are a lot.
I was thinking that too, right? More than usual to me.
I would agree with you. There's also the teams that you thought it would do so good at the beginning and they haven't really stayed out. Like Spain, better day, but overall, not. What do you think? Portugal, with, in my opinion, the best midfielder in the whole World Cup, not being up to the task. Brazil don't even matter. Like we're so below what our expectations are. But there's also the teams that you know are gonna do well. Netherlands are very hot right now. I really like how they play. And you have Germany. Whoever plays Germany is gonna struggle. There's Argentina that, you know, it's tough. So there's like France again. There's like a little, I would say, between 7 and 8 teams that you're like, I don't know. They have chances to go far, and maybe it's also a surprise here and there that we are not expecting, like US. US is a surprise, and I think US is gonna go far. To knock out US, you're gonna have to take it, in my opinion, a 1-0 game or to an overtime. It's gonna be tough. There's Mexico with good momentum. There's a bunch of teams that, you know, can get all the way down.
You know, it's funny because I can hear you're down on Brazil, but is Morocco a team that could win the world? Like, are they in that argument of like they could conceivably do this?
Not, in my opinion, not to win, but to give a lot of trouble to a lot of people. And whoever don't fully understand soccer and don't know the teams would underestimate Morocco. And in my opinion, before the game, my prediction was 0-0. And ended up being a 1-1. So they outplayed Brazil. They had, they dominate in the midfield. They're faster. They're more dynamic. They transition really well. They're very well organized team. It's give it or take. They don't have a policy, but it's kind of like the U.S. that you're like, it's hard to beat them.
William Vanzela, we have this pool for the World Cup with some folks involved, the people that work on the show, some of our ancillary characters, and I'm not doing so hot. I'm not at the bottom. My partner Griffin's in a little bit of trouble right now, but Belgium has really let me down. They're 2 matches in. We don't have a win yet.
Yep.
I could be the loser of this thing. And you kindly agreed that the loser of our pool would, for a penalty, come spend a training session with you. Can you just describe to us, because it might be me, and you know me, I'm not in peak athletic shape. One time when they used to have me come over and do those celebrity halftime games, I nearly perished on the pitch running around in one of those things. What are we going to be in store for whoever it is that loses this World Cup pool?
Well, very happy to be part of this punishment, and I'll be gladly torture you if it happens to be you or anybody else over there. I hope you guys are already feeling the pressure of coming, because it won't be easy. I will have you sign a waiver just for legal reasons that you are going to be responsible for whatever happens on the field. But we're going to have a full training session called No Mercy, where I really won't care what kind of shape you are. We're just going to have fun with that. I'll be happy to record the whole session and share with the whole world. That's going to go viral. So looking forward
this is going to be a disaster. This is going to be such a disaster. Oh, man. Griffin.
To you or to whoever loses, not to me.
Griffin, you're in last place.
I am in last place
right now.
We have Argentina.
You still have Argentina.
They need to. I might be rooting for them more than the U.S. I don't know. I do not want to lose this. And they're my only team.
Man.
They're my only team.
It's called No Mercy. Of course, it's called No Mercy. Of course, that's the case.
You know, for folks that don't fully understand how is the life of a goalkeeper, because you see us on the field and usually talk to any goalkeepers, they will tell you that a game day, it's usually a rest day, you know, body wise. You're locked in and very focused in the mental component of the game to make the right decisions. But the decisions that you're going to make, you trained your whole life in your whole week for repetition, memory muscle, doing the same action over and over and over. That's basically what we're going to do.
Man, this is going to be a nightmare. William, for those that don't know, where can they find you if they're looking, they got a young person in their life that's looking to become a better goalie? Where can they find you and get in touch with you?
So I have a goalkeeper academy called Born to Fly, and you can just go to borntoflygk.com. and it takes you to my website. Highly recommend you to go to the testimonial area section, have some parents and players that can speak on behalf of what we do. And not only we improve goalkeeper skills, but we teach them life lessons. This is what I stand up for, right? I want the sport to teach you some life lessons, to make you a better goalkeeper, but to make you a better human, to understand yourself, to understand your capabilities, to challenge yourself, to outcome problems, and have fun during that ride. So very, very excited about younger folks that are inspired by me to do what I do with love and become better.
Love everything about that. BornToFlyGK.com. William Vanzela, love you, brother. Appreciate you, everything you do for us in the community, man. Let's talk again before this is all over. Thank you for taking the time for us.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to talk to you guys at any point. I'll be super happy to run this whole session. I'm very excited about that.
This is so
just
bad.
To think of your fear, Griffin, I hope that's not you, man. But just to think of your fear, it gets me going. I'm very happy about it.
God.
And the last thing I want to say, I'm very excited for US, how they're playing, and it's bringing joy. Not only they're winning, but they're playing really well. And that for me, obviously a soccer lover, hopefully more people are watching and they play more. But I'm very excited to be the host and to have them like playing the way they play. I hope that goes, very well and they can go really far. But for me, as a college coach, as a youth coach, as a goalkeeper coach, watching U.S. play right now, it's such a joy.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Plus, the whole world is tasting it, and everybody's happy with how the U.S. is hosted, and it's been a summer of love to this point. We like that. Appreciate you, bud. Let's talk soon. All right.
All right. Have a good day, y'all.
William Vanzela with us here on GCR. When we come back in, I want to talk a little bit more about the World Cup, also some of the other events from the weekend, lacrosse, and a big college and NBA news today. We'll discuss all that next. Glenn Clark Radio.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, when you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
This summer, the world gathers on the biggest stage in sports, and only one place puts you in the front row for every thrilling moment. Live Casino. June 9th through July 19th, surround yourself with massive screens, trophy-worthy specials, and arena-sized energy. This isn't a game, it's history in the making. Watch the world play at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bill Ordine dives in on how different Preakness will be temporarily at Laurel Park, and then long-term once it returns to Pimlico. Also inside, Luke Jackson learns more about what Trey Hendrickson will bring to the Ravens. And Karuga Koinange looks at how Samuel Basayo is influencing the Orioles' international signing efforts. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR. Yeah, obviously we were talking Orioles at the start. And we talked about it with William. I haven't had a chance to talk much about Friday. Really kind of got emotional for Alex, and it started off poorly for Alex on Friday, right? Like the bad giveaway in the first minute. You're like, oh, no. And then even before the goal, he had a sublime clearance. That was so cool, man. It's just so cool. Like when we had Alex on the first time, it was really just because of my like love for his dad, and we talked about it when Antonio was on with us most recently. Antonio used to come on all the time for a couple of reasons. One, because for a bit he was doing TV work for CSN when it was called, I think before it became NBC Sports. It was still Comcast Sportsnet, and would do like Ravens pre and post game stuff, and was living here and just liked doing it. Would come on, talk Ravens with us, and that was awesome. This is back on the old radio station. And then after that, or maybe because of that, I really got involved with Antonio's charity, which was Be More Free programs, which did a lot for like books and school stuff for kids. And I did a bunch of events, a couple with him. We joked about like the time he and I were both Chick-fil-A drive-thru workers, which is a real thing that occurred. I think it was at the Chick-fil-A in Woodlawn, if I remember correctly. We legitimately were we worked for the night. He did it all week. Like he did a week of them and just like rotated. One night it was me. One night it was, I want to say, Rob Long. One night it was, I think, somebody from 92Q. But like he did it all week. And then we just rotated who his co-drive-thru employee was, and it was just a lot of fun, man. Like it was a really fun time, and I just really enjoyed Antonio. And so when I found out that his son was going to be playing in the Gold Cup, I was like, man, that's so cool. But remember, at that point, no one thought that Alex was legitimately like an option. We talked about it like hypothetically,
like to barely make the roster, right? Like
no one thought he could make the roster.
Yeah,
but no one thought. I mean, remember he was 20.
Yeah.
And like he had mild success in MLS. I had talked to someone who worked for U.S. Soccer last summer. Not even in like a decision-making role, but just someone who I know worked for U.S. Soccer. I said, hey, I had Alex Freeman on my show. And I was like, and I think I remember I asked it this way. I said, you think there's any chance he could work his way into being in the mix in 2030? And I remember this person saying to me, he could be in the mix next year. And I was like, what? He's like, they like him a lot. Like, a lot. And obviously we know the story, right? Like, bet on himself, went to Spain. Everybody said, well, that clearly takes him out of the mix because now he's not going to have the minutes to be able to prove himself. And yet shows up in Spain, Villarreal, and keeps earning more minutes, ends up starting. And he's been phenomenal. John and Little Rock and I were texting on Friday. Like, if I had to power rank who have been the top guys so far, I think it'd be Chris Richards 1. I think Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie might be some combination of 2, 3 for me. And then 4, 5, 6, like really 4, 5 are Alex and Balogun to me. And I get it. It's tough because Pulisic's 1/2 was sublime. Like was so wonderful and so class that like he probably still belongs in the argument despite the fact that he's only played 1/2. So that's why I think I said 4, 5, and 6, because even with just 1/2, I mean, it was just so freaking good that I still think he should be in the conversation. But I don't know, man. Like, it's just been so special seeing him thrive the way that he has and announce himself on a national level or an international level. And, yeah, like when they ruled it off sides, you're like, oh, man, that would have been so cool. But admittedly, I thought it was offsides. Like, I did when I watched it live. I really did. And then when they go and you see it on VAR, you're like, ah! Just awesome. Really spectacular. Happy for him. Again, the first half was really good. The second half was shaky. They did run the risk of giving up a couple in the second half, admittedly, to a decent Australia team. Can't overlook that. That's a decent team. Really good win. I do think that ultimately William Vanzela's right. I am nervous about it, but I don't think those nerves. It's like talking about an NFL team in Week 18. Your nerves about like, well, what if they don't look the same in the play? And I am nervous about like they've got a good vibe going. I'd like for that to keep going, but I don't think you play any of those guys. I don't think you play.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, like the fact that with the expanded knockout, it's like they're playing and if they're able to pick up points again on Thursday night, like then they're gonna have a very low. Or I guess it doesn't really matter what
nothing about Thursday night matters.
Okay.
Nothing. They are.
But yeah, they're gonna play a much lower ranked team in the round of 32, and it's like.
Well, and someone would argue that's why
there's more margin for error. Is the point?
But well, here let's go a step forward.
Okay.
Someone would argue. Because you might be playing Bosnia in the round of 32.
And Herzegovina.
Yeah, that's true. It is unfair to have to play both. You're not wrong. Go ahead. Just play these guys. Keep the vibes going. If one of them picks up another yellow, so be it. So they miss Bosnia. I understand the thought to that. I just don't think it's justifiable. I think you really are going to sit as many guys as you possibly can. Not even just I think there are guys that are going to sit on Thursday that don't have it. I think the guys on the yellow and Pulisic are the obvious ones. Like those guys are sitting. I think there might be a couple. Yeah, I mean, given his age, I think that's a pretty obvious choice to sit on Thursday.
So we're going to see some Brendan Aronson, baby.
Yes. I'd bet on that. Now, look, that's my thought. It might be that Pochettino thinks otherwise, and I will trust that man and his untucked shirts until proven otherwise. So, there we go. That's my thought on that. Now, what else from the weekend did we need to cover? Oh, the whip snakes. Yeah, baby. Yeah, right? Like, first half on Saturday, they're just going out there and scoring like 1 million goals, and you're thinking, this is going to be a runaway. And then, alas.
It's still early in the season.
That's true. And they're also, the bummer is they're also coming off like a 2-week break.
Yeah. Yeah, right, because
they were fine. Like, again,
this is the rest versus rust.
But they were killing it in the first half. It wasn't like they fell behind by 8 and they charged back. They were dominating in the first half. And then second half was a mess against Atlas. They lose that one 16-14. And the Charm lost as well. Thank you. Charm lost as well. Not a good weekend against New York for the two Maryland teams.
I'm sorry. We don't like Long Island anyway. Throw that one away.
Is that what you think it is? They just don't like playing on Long Island?
It's so far away. It's just like,
Plus, it was a bad weekend to try to do a sporting event in New York, given like the hangover from the parade, and then the U.S. Open was going on. Here's all my thoughts about Here's all my thoughts about the U.S. Open.
Well, you know who won? It's second time, I heard.
Yeah, my cousin Wyndham. I'm very happy for him.
You should
very
be.
happy
You
for
should be excited.
my guy. I wish I had anything to say about Wyndham Clark. I got nothing.
His dad showed up.
That's neat. He's got a dad. Like, neato, gang. I wish there was anything to say whatsoever. I don't. As you all know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't watch golf. I don't care. And this one, there wasn't a storyline. Like somebody said to me last week, if Scotty was in the mix on Sunday, would I be watching? Because that I guess he could have won the career Grand Slam.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit different. Like the Rory thing did.
If Twitter was shoving it down my throat, maybe. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, also Sunday's Father's Day. Like there's a lot going. I got a lot going on to begin with. Like my car still smells like crabs. Sell that candle. Take
your nap
candle.
in the car then. Is that?
I might try to do that. Yeah, I was up at 3 today, and the
Congrats.
Orioles don't play until 10. So
you can do it.
There's definitely – it's not going to be a long appearance for me here at the office. I'm going to be ducking out and squeezing in a nap because otherwise I will not be able to stay up for the Orioles game tonight. And clearly, we got to do a show tomorrow. You guys – would riot if I haven't watched. I started to fall asleep on Saturday night. Legitimately, I was struggling. I was battling it. What actually saved me was the fact that it got hairy in the 9th inning, because then I was on the edge. I got a nap in on Friday. Literally, did the morning show. Went home at 12. Set my alarm for 2:59.
Gotcha. So you didn't miss the
I wasn't missing the match. The cool part is my older son got home right at 3 o'clock. I was still in bed because I was just waking up to watch the match. He just hopped in the bed with me, and then we put the match on and we laid in bed together. It was awesome, actually. It was really cool. We just laid together and watched the match. That was dope. I enjoyed that a great deal. But yeah, gonna need a nap today. What was I? Oh yeah, Wyndham Clark. Sure. God bless.
Yeah.
God bless. He won the U.S. Open. Righto.
Who got next year? Who's going to win the U.S. Open next year?
I don't think the Scotty thing would have captivated me. I had acknowledged that the Rory thing captivated me. Not this year. That was mildly interesting. Also, the Masters is the one that I feel like most of us. It's because it's a little bit about golf. It's also more about springtime and the weather's changing, and that's pleasant. Just the other ones, short of there being a really compelling, and Scotty, I think we all assume it's Rory also was much deeper in his career, and there was real doubt about whether he was going to do it. I don't think there's a whole lot of doubt about whether or not Scotty Scheffler is going to win a U.S. Open. I think we're all pretty sure that's going to happen at some point. I say that everybody thought that Phil Mickelson was going to win a U.S. Open, and that's the way that went. But I don't know if that would have been, even if he
Phil could still win one, right? I mean, he could come back.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Don't think he's gonna be doing that. And then big news today: Dusty May, 2 and done, one title and done.
So Michigan's looking for a basketball coach.
Yeah, you got somebody in mind?
I think I do.
Yeah, somebody who likes to hop around place to place.
Yeah. No, I think he may have used up all his clock on in his current spot.
Really crazy. More that you're cashing that in, and you can say, well, he's recognizing, the difficulty of college coaching. Well, it seems like Dusty May figured out how to beat the system.
Could this end up being like Saban, where he's gonna quickly go to the NBA?
Yeah, that's my gut tells me.
I mean, of course, Ori's just the greatest NBA coach of all time.
I feel like we've had this conversation in the past with other guys. If you succeed the way that Dusty May did, you can always go back to college.
Yeah.
Because no matter how bad it might be at the NBA level, they're going to see your college resume and say, give me that guy. Now, I think we always assumed that Billy Donovan would do that at some point, and he just never did. I guess if they'll keep paying you to coach in the NBA, then why in a hurry? Why not? I think it's as simple as, here, you got the chance to do it right now. Go give it a shot, see how it goes, and if it doesn't work out, you can always have whatever the best if in 2 years Dusty May realizes it's not happening, or the Mavericks just aren't able to make any progress because the West is, a monster, then that option will still be there. Obviously, if Buzz departs, clearly the Maryland job, probably the best job, I think.
Get the most support, yeah.
He's got a lot of ties to Indiana. Who knows? If DeVries never really breaks through in 2 years, he could get the Indiana job, a job that we believe he always wanted.
North Carolina will just fire somebody, whoever. I forget.
Well, Michael Malone is.
Oh, that's right. They hired Michael Malone.
Did you really forget that Michael Malone?
I did.
I
forgot it was Michael Malone.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very interesting. If you're a Michigan fan, I don't think you can be all that pissed off. He came and got you a title. Who gives a...
I mean, I guess you're pissed off because it's June 22nd, and now...
Yeah, it's a bad time for it.
Roster might
it's why it's not all that surprising that they're not going to do a search. They're just going to let, Mike Boynton is going to be the coach. And that's sort of like a 1-year interview for the job, more or less. They're hiring him as interim coach, but that doesn't say for sure that he'll be the coach. Well, now that's interesting, because I thought I read it differently when I saw it online. That the way that's worded is that he's just the interim coach, which. All right,
from Pete Thamel.
Yeah, but that it doesn't. You can. Every program has to have someone who's technically the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So if you name him interim coach, that doesn't mean he's definitely going to coach the team this year. The way they're writing about it certainly why are you bothering to tell the players, hey, here's the guy until we have the guy? If you were planning on hiring a coach in 2 weeks, you'd still want someone to be the interim head coach because it's an official title at a school. Like, somebody has to hold it.
Right.
But the way that they're writing, those last two reports have written about it, suggests that it's going to be Mike Boynton for the season, which is kind of what I thought they would do, given the timing, is just let an assistant have 1 year, try to keep everybody together, go see, and if it goes well, give him the job. If it doesn't go well, then do your coaching search next year in March, when you would want to do a coaching search and when presumably everybody's available. All right. Is that it? Is that all? Anything else on the weekend that we needed to cover?
We do get a game 3 of college baseball.
Oh, right. Yeah, Carolina won yesterday.
I feel like the World Cup's just been dominating. And
really, everything got sports mogged by the World Cup.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, too, because we were in on the NBA and the Stanley Cup Finals, but
Yeah.
I think the World Cup has just been really good. And the U.S. has been really good. And so everything else this weekend just kind of got swept up by the World Cup.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, we'll talk about that when we come back in. We'll go over what's coming up tonight, plus we'll get a tidbit as we wind things down. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
This summer, the world gathers on the biggest stage in sports, and only one place puts you in the front row for every thrilling moment. Live Casino. June 9th through July 19th, surround yourself with massive screens, trophy-worthy specials, and arena-sized energy. This isn't a game, it's history in the making. Watch the world play at Live Casino. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnken. If you've been injured in Maryland, you know you need a great lawyer. Look no further than us, Warnken LLC. You've seen my picture on billboards around town. You've seen me on TV. Now I'm lucky enough to get to be here with Stan. Please give us a call. 443-RESULTS. It is not just a phone number, it's a mission. 443-RESULTS. Or visit us online at warnkenlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
When you feel invisible, exhausted, stressed, or anxious, when you have days that just feel too hard to get through, you are not alone. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health or problems with drugs or alcohol, help is right in your hands. Call or text 988 to get support whenever you need it. Help is here. Call or text 988. Brought to you by Maryland Department of Health.
coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here as we wind down for a Monday edition of the program. Don't forget, every Monday, Stan the Fan Charles, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson talk baseball with you. Coming up today at 5 o'clock, you can watch it live, facebook.com/PressBoxSports. If you miss it live, go to youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan's shows are brought to you by Warnken Law and the Costas Inn with two great locations, the OG in Dundalk, the new one in Timonium, and some rumors that there may even be a special guest on today's Stan the Fan, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson baseball show. So you'll have to tune in to find out. That's today at 5. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by County Sports Zone. CountySports.zone is the website. Everything you need to know about high school sports here in the state of Maryland, they've got you covered. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com.
Let's keep it simple. 8 nations have ever won a World Cup. Who are they?
They are.
And how many each won? No.
Yeah, sure. France?
Yes.
Brazil,
Twice for the French.
Argentina, Italy,
Mm-hmm.
Germany.
Mm-hmm. Hold on a little bit into the mic for me.
Oh,
he said Germany. He said Germany. For
Germany.
Yeah. So that's 5.
Oh, England.
England has won it once. When?
1950-something?
66.
66. How about we figured this out. It's one of the Guys. Oh man. Son of a bitch.
One of the Guys.
I've like covered my entire lifetime. So you got to go way back on this.
And they've won it twice.
It's Uruguay.
It is Uruguay. They have won 1930 and 1950. So the very first World Cup in 1930 and in 1950 as well. And I
there's
think
another one, isn't there? I got 7.
Yeah, one left. Who did you not say?
Argentina, Italy. Who did I not say? Oh, Spain.
Spain. Yes.
Yeah.
And they won it in
recently. 2010.
Yes.
2010.
Which of those nations has won it the most with 5 World Cup championships?
Oh God. Brazil.
Brazil. Most recently in. Just trying to get you ready for all the World Cup questions tonight.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. There could be some World Cup questions tonight. Most recently, it's been a little while, right?
It has.
They won in 94. They won here in 94, but they won once after that, and I can't remember if it was 98. France hosted 2000. No, 2006 was Italy because I was in 2002.
Yes, 2002. Yep.
I got it. Okay, so it's
France hosted and won in 98.
I was in New York for like the semifinals in 2006, and like I knew I was going out with some friends to watch the match, and I had like an Italy shirt on, and like I walked out and the streets, it was a mob scene. It was just a mob scene. And it was the coolest thing that I've ever experienced.
All the Italians.
I didn't get to stay in New York for the final. The final, I was back here, and I watched it with the cast of the Anita Marks show.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Where did we go? I think we went to
Mothers.
No, it was Ciao Bella maybe in Little Italy. We went.
Okay,
we went.
You went to it. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Gotcha.
But it was the atmosphere was not what I like. After the high of what I experienced in New York, I was like, this kind of sucks. I was really disappointed.
You were the only one excited?
Yeah, but I can associate 06 with Italy, and I can associate France hosted in 98, and they won there.
Yep.
Because that was they were not one of the favorites going into that.
Into the 98 one.
Yeah. And then obviously when the U.S. hosted in 94, So then 2002 was the Asian World Cup. That was the one that was in like Japan and South Korea, if I remember correctly. And like all the matches were at like 3 a.m.
Jeez.
And my buddy BJ Appel, because we were all home from school for the summer, he was like, "Well, just come over to my house and we'll all crash and then we'll set an alarm so we can wake up and watch the match." And how do you think we're all like we're 19 years old and we're drinking. We're not falling asleep until like 1 a.m. to begin with, and then an alarm starts going off. It's 3 a.m. We're supposed to watch the soccer match. We're hungover. We're not. Like, we're not.
You watch the damn soccer match.
It's not happening, man. It's just not happening. All right, very good. Let's get tubular.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
Here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise this evening. Orioles open up a series in Anaheim against the Angels. 9:38 on Masson. Kyle Bradish and Sam Aldagiri.
Yeah, I think that was it. Aldagiri. You're the Italian. You should know.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's a good point. There was a report this weekend that the Angels are not looking to trade their 2 controllable pitchers. I don't know if that's like definitive.
Thanks, Artie Moreno.
Yeah, I mean, like that's to be fair. On June 22nd, no one's normally looking to trade anyone because, like, you don't want to just say, "Oh, we suck." So
yeah, he could.
And then somebody else said something really stupid about Reed Detmers. I don't remember if it was somebody we like too, and I was like, "What?" It might have been Nightingale. Somebody said like
there's no chance.
No, the Angels could
like
get as much for Reed Detmers as the Tigers could get for Tarek Skubal or something like that. And I get the point that he's trying to make is that like Detmers has a lot of control and Skubal is a rental, but like no. And if what you're saying is they won't do it unless they get that much back, well then what you're really saying is they're not trading Reed Detmers.
Then yeah.
Although if there's a team that loves the idea, I am convinced that like the Orioles are the team that makes this type of trade, right? That they just value the control so much that like you might not be great, but you might be good.
They would send the Boz package for.
Yeah, at least the Boz package. Anyway, yeah, Orioles tonight, the opener against the Angels. World Cup coming up in just a couple of minutes. Argentina and Austria.
Go Argentina.
Griffin can't get out of the basement, even with an Argentina victory, but he needs it nonetheless. That's on Fox at 1.
And then it's go Iraq versus France. Come on.
Good luck.
Pull it off,
France
Iraqis.
and Iraq at
What is that?
5
What do we
o'clock.
call it? What do the Iraqis call it?
I don't know. Norway and Senegal. Yeah, Norway has gotten their big Fox treatment now. Like everybody's drunk on not just Holland, but also the. Like, did you see the video of all of the Norwegians in Times Square doing the row yesterday?
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was awesome. It was awesome. So that's prime time on Fox tonight at 8.
The nickname for the Iraq national team, the Lions of Mesopotamia.
Sure.
Go Lions.
Go with that. Norway and Senegal at 8 on Fox. FS1's got Jordan and Algeria tonight at 11. And as Griffin pointed out, Game 3 of the Men's College World Series Final, North Carolina, Oklahoma, 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Winner take all. Non-sports highlights.
No, it's a good sports watching day. Below Deck, Mediterranean on Bravo, and American Ninja Warrior.
They are the real lionesses. They're the lionesses of Mesopotamia, I believe. The Below Deck.
There's some dudes on there. Yeah.
I don't know. I've never watched the show.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Very good. I used to when Joel McHale hosted what was that show on E! Talk Soup or The Soup? Something like that. It was a show that just basically made fun of all the reality shows. It just took, it was him doing 30 minutes of stand-up about how stupid reality TV was. And so he would play, a reality TV clip, and then he would make fun of it. And Joel McHale came on my show at one point, and he was great. And I like Joel McHale. He's a big Seattle sports fan.
Just The Soup.
The Soup, that's what it was called. And so I would watch that show. Even though I didn't watch any of these reality shows, I would watch The Soup. And I remember him making fun of whatever the below deck was at that point. And that's the only reference point I have for below deck. I think there was a baseball player who might have owned one of the boats that was once involved
that'd be cool.
somehow. But that's all I got for you. That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
All righty then. Everything else, GlennClarkRadio.com. Thanks today to William Vanzela. Thanks also to Jacob Calvin Meyer. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the...
Fallon is the only guy working this week, and he'll have Reese Witherspoon and Zoe Deutsch.
Who's Zoe Deutsch?
She was... hold on.
Because I like Reese Witherspoon. Like, you're on something there.
She was in... Hold on. She was in...
Is Reese Witherspoon plugging Legally Blonde 3? Are we at that yet?
No.
Because I'm not going to lie.
What the hell
That's
is
a fine
Zoe, what is
franchise.
Zoe Deutsch plugging? She was in... No, that's not what you would know her from.
Okay.
Either.
So nothing then.
Yeah, I guess nothing.
All right then. No.
She was
going
in
to be my answer.
she was in The Outfit, juror number 2.
What?
Yeah. Was she... Amazing Spider-Man 2? Who was she in Amazing Spider-Man 2?
We've all kind of... That...
Yeah.
It's not even like it was bad. It's just that in comparison to the other Spider-Man franchises, that was the lesser of the Spider-Man franchises. Oh, we took the kids to see Toy Story on Saturday.
Oh, she was in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely...
But the spin-off, The Sweet Life on Deck.
No.
Yeah.
Not a chance. But Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, obviously. Yeah, took the kids to see Toy Story, and they saw the poster for the Spider-Man Brand New Day, and now it's all they're talking about. And the good news is, I am equally excited. We can share that one. Toy Story was wonderful, because of course it was wonderful. They make good.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah,
good.
I said it twice already, but that's okay.
Well, I was trying to figure out who the hell Zoe Deutsch was and why I thought that she was somebody.
Yeah. Tomorrow on the program, anything?
I think Femi's going to stop by.
Our buddy Femi Ayamodejo is going to join us. We will talk to him about the Ravens, but really he was trying to chime in on the Adley Rutschman thing. He thinks the Orioles need to trade Adley Rutschman.
Okay.
He's, of course, a talk show host now over on 105.7 The Fan, so he's got to be a little more
broad. He's got to broaden his horizon.
Yeah, so we're going to talk to Femi about that, too. And we'll talk some soccer. Paul Tenorio, who covers soccer for The Athletic, will join us. We'll talk some World Cup with him as well. I think that's it. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, the Baltimore Orioles, Costas Inn, your Baltimore area High's Dairy Stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warnken Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, the Maryland Department of Health, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.